Matthew chapter 5. This has a very, very dear place in my heart. Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7 are the Sermon on the Mount. It was the first thing that I ever kind of learned about when I came back to Jesus. Really came to Jesus for the first time 3 years ago, when I was searching how to learn about Jesus, how to learn about the Bible. One of the first things that I found was a book about the Sermon on the Mount. And then shortly following that, concurrent with that, I found a lot of lectures about the Sermon on the Mount, and as well as some fantastic, insane deep dives into the complexity of the Sermon on the Mount and what it means for modern Christianity. And what it means for modern Christianity was something that I didn't see a lot of, and that started my confusion and desire for answers, and desire for accountability and for truth in the followers of Jesus in today's world. The way that I always like to describe this, because oftentimes when I'm talking to somebody who is either Christian and doesn't really know about the Sermon on the Mount, is that this is the constitution of Christianity. Scholars often refer to it as the Messianic Torah, the same way that the Israelites had, a lot of Exodus, Leviticus, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, that this was the history, the instruction, and the motivation behind their people. And this is ours. And there's so much more I could say about it, but considering how important this is, and how this is the, chronologically speaking, and as you just read through the New Testament, this is the first time you're going to come across Jesus really talking to people. And the fact that the first words out of his mouth are, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." When that first really hit me, someone who at the time was very poor in spirit, it completely changed my life. And I encourage everyone to dive so deeply into the Sermon on the Mount. Read it every day. I read it 300 times or something in a year. Just read it, read it, read it, read it. Listen to people talk about it. Listen to people talk about how important it is. Learn about it. There's phenomenal resources to learn about this part of the Bible. Again, I used the prompt Matthew chapter 5, and I used the same custom gem within Google Gemini that I described in the preface video. We now enter Matthew 5, the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. This is the most famous discourse in human history. If Matthew 1 through 4 established Jesus' credentials, Matthew 5 through 7 establishes his constitution. Jesus climbs a mountain, evoking Moses on Sinai, not to abolish the law, but to reveal its true heart. Part 1. Who was Jesus? In Matthew 5, Jesus is revealed as the new lawgiver and the supreme authority. The greater Moses. Unlike Moses, who received the law from God, Jesus speaks with his own authority. He repeatedly uses the phrase, quote, "You have heard that it was said, ... but I tell you," close quote. He isn't just a prophet. He is the author of the law. The fulfillment of the law. Jesus says he didn't come to abolish the law or the prophets, but to fulfill them. Verse 17. He is the only human who perfectly embodies the righteousness that the law demands. That's one of my cats. The consuming light. He identifies himself as the source of light, then tells his followers they are the light of the world. Verse 14. He is the sun, and they are the moon, reflecting his radiance. Part 2. What was his mission? Jesus' mission here is the internalization of the kingdom. He is moving the boundary lines of religion from external rituals to the internal landscape of the heart. Upside down values. The Beatitudes, verses 3 through 12, announce that the kingdom belongs to the wrong people, the poor in spirit, the mourners, the meek. His mission is to validate those whom the world overlooks. A greater righteousness. He explicitly states that unless one's righteousness, quote, surpasses that of the Pharisees, close quote, they cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Verse 20. His mission is to move us beyond not killing to not hating, and beyond not committing adultery to not lusting. Radical reconciliation. His mission is to create a community of peacemakers who love their enemies. Verse 44. He wants to break the cycle of an eye for an eye that governs human history. Part 3. How should Christians engage with the world today? Matthew 5 provides the salt and light mandate, verses 13 through 16. Salt, preservation. In the ancient world, salt was used to prevent meat from rotting. Christians are called to be a preservative in society, slowing down the moral and social decay by practicing integrity and justice. Light, visibility. Faith is not a private matter. Christians are told not to hide their lamp under a bowl. This means engaging in good deeds that are so undeniable that even secular people glorify your Father in heaven. Proactive peace. Engagement isn't just avoiding conflict, it's peacemaking. If someone sues you for your shirt, give them your coat. Verse 40. It's about going the extra mile to disarm hostility through radical generosity. Part 4. Modern America exemplifying Jesus. An example of this Matthew 5 spirit is found in restorative justice programs and mercy ministries. In modern America, when a victim of a crime chooses to meet with the offender to offer forgiveness and a path toward rehabilitation rather than just seeking the maximum eye for an eye punishment, they are living the Beatitudes. Similarly, organizations that provide free legal or medical aid to the poor in spirit or the meek without seeking credit or political leverage act as the salt that preserves the dignity of the marginalized. 5. Modern America, the antithesis. Part 5. The antithesis is found in the culture of contempt and performative outrage, internalized hatred. Jesus warns that calling someone rakah, empty-headed, contemptible, is akin to murder in the heart, verse 22. Modern American discourse is often built on the dehumanization of political or social opponents. When we cancel or mock others to feel morally superior, we are the Pharisees Jesus was critiquing. The litigious spirit. We live in a society that is quick to sue and demand every penny, verse 26. The antithesis of Jesus' teaching is a person who insists on their rights as at the expense of another's humanity, or who use the law as a weapon of retaliation rather than a tool for justice.